and welcome to Tabor Talk. I'm your host, Michael Tabor. So, one of my evening editions, this will probably be my last one for today. So, getting right into this, people who are following me on my channel here on Tabor Talk know I'm a big UFC mixed martial arts fan, and I have this very ambitious project to go back and watch every single UFC event and then talk about it. All right. So far I've done three. Back to UFC 1, 1993, November of 1993. UFC 1, the beginning, Hoist Gracie and the whole thing, Shamrock and all that. And I did a 20-minute bit. I pulled a little bit here and there. Again, it's all guerrilla style format. It's just me talking informally, no notes really. I did kind of have I jotted down the names before each, but that's about it. So I had UFC 1, I posted it, UFC 2, it's called Mike's Mixed Martial Arts, by the way, and then UFC 3. Now, I've since watched UFC 4, UFC 5, UFC 6, I'm going to watch UFC 7. Now, I have not done a video record. I've done a piece of UFC 4 because it's kind of hard. I go through all the fights, I break it down, I provide some commentary, and I try to get as much footage as possible. And it's tricky because UFC sucks. They're blockers. You show their stuff, they tear it down. I was putting, my iPad or phone up against my smart TV, taping it and throwing it up, and no. UFC will take that shit right down. So you gotta kind of get around it. What I've been doing is going on other people's channels and giving them credit, of course, and I'm sort of kind of getting around it. So, and I say this all the time, like the UFC, it's like they're just so hard ass, like they don't have enough money, a gazillion dollars already, but it's business. That's whatever. I understand. It's their property. I don't want to be a dick. Copyright infringement. So anyway, I just want to talk now. I'm not going to do another one of these, a full episode of Mike's Mixed Martial Arts, but I just want to give you my thoughts of how I feel about early UFC. It's like I had forgotten how insanely violent and chaotic and messy and crazy. I mean, yeah, UFC today, 2019, it's an incredibly violent sport. Don't get me wrong, the athletes are way better than they ever were. They're bigger, faster, stronger, but it's technical. You see what I'm saying? So they know, listen, you could die in that ring. It's super freaking violent. But these guys today are tremendous athletes. And here's another thing. Yeah, the offense has gotten better, but so has the defense. Every UFC fighter knows. They know how to defend themselves. They know if you're on the ground. It's weird. People who don't understand fighting, they assume that someone who's on the bottom is just completely helpless. It's raining punches down in your face. That's completely not true. We learned this in the early days with the Gracie system of fighting. They actually preferred being on the bottom. You could pull off, triangles and arm bars and all that kind of stuff. So, anyway, so back in the early days, it's like these huge guys, and a lot of them are on steroids. They're like one guy's like 620 pounds, 6'9". It's a freak show, and then they have guys 400 pounds, 380. It's just complete crazy, and a lot of guys don't know how to fight. They were trained in the martial arts or karate. They were supposed to, but it's like one fight, I think that was UFC 4, and it's like this big giant guy who's like 6'9", 300 pounds, and he's out of shape. And he's supposed to be like a third-degree black belt in some, I don't know what kind of system it was, maybe some sort of karate or I don't know. And he's going at this other guy, and it's just like this. It's just like back in high school, two guys not even knowing how to fight. And it's fucking dangerous because, you know what I mean? It's dangerous because they don't know what you're doing. People die in street fights. Regular guys who don't know how to fight, they die because they don't know what the hell they're doing. They're just swinging, and some guy falls and hits his head on the concrete, and he dies. See what I mean? That's what this was like. It was scaring me. I was like, oh my God, someone's going to die. Like, I knew the outcome. I've seen all the fights already. But I went back and I'm like really nervous. I'm going, oh my God, this is awful. And, but then again, I'm attracted to it too because it's so like, whoa. I'm like, literally, I can't sit down watching these fights. I'm like standing up and it's like, so let me talk about this. Like my favorite sport, not even close, is fighting. Is UFC, and I love all sports. I really do. I mean, I love tennis, even golf, but football, basketball, baseball, and I love it. But really, the greatest sport, not even close, the most exciting, is fighting. Come on. Even as a kid, boxing, of course, Muhammad Ali, and later on Tyson and all that. So, and then middleweights, Sugar Ray Leonard and Marvin Hagler, the whole thing, Roberto Duran, but and wrestling too. Collegiate wrestling, I wrestle. But anyway, I like the way like people who deny it say, "Oh, I think baseball's better. I like the or tennis or football." So I like how Renzo Gracie broke it down. He said, "Okay, you're telling me you like soccer better than fighting, or you're more glued to a soccer match than say fighting." I goes, "Okay, let's just say you go to a park and there are a bunch of people, and in one area, one corner of the park, there are people playing baseball, and then in the other corner of the park, they're playing soccer." And then the other corner, there's basketball. And in corner number 4, there's a big fight breaking out. Where do you think the crowd's going to go to? See? There's something about a fight. Even when I used to go to Giant games, everyone would stand up and look when a fight broke out, Fighting. It's compelling. It's the most primal thing that human beings do. Aggression. And it's like you think about sports, it's human construct. There are rules and all this. Baseball, there are rules and all this. And sorry for repeating myself, but fighting is something that's animal. It's primal, and And by the way, there were virtually no rules in the early days. All they had was, let's say, there were no time limits, no weight classes. And it was a tournament style too. So you'd fight 3 times in one night. Can you imagine that? Crazy. And then the only thing you couldn't do, the only rules were no biting, no eye gouging. And that's it, right? So no biting, no eye gouging. So everything was allowed. Elbows to the back of the head. It's really scary. Really scary stuff. So but anyway, I'm enjoying it, and I want to finish it off here with Tank Abbott against this guy John Mateo. This is off UFC 6, and here Tank Abbott was just, when he came in, he just said, "I'm a street fighter," and that's it. And he's trained. You can see he's got wrestling background. The way he does have technique for sure, but he is this nasty guy. He just loves to fight and kick ass, and literally tries to kill people. And he thinks it's funny. Even Jim Brown, the commentator, said, "Tank Abbott, we've never seen anything like this. He's evil." And I'll show you a bit of Tank. This is some guy's channel. The music's kind of lame. I'm assuming he's a young guy because it's like heavy metal or something. I mean, never make assumptions, but all right. So here's Tank Abbott against John Mateo. This is brutal. And what's sick is, well, let me just play it first. Ready? Tank it. Ignore the stupid music. Can you see that? See that? I mean, it's not really clear, but let me see if I can get this better. Okay. No, this is what's sick. Watch it, what he does. See, he's convulsing here, right? Watch his body. See, it's stiff. See that? The music's stupid, but now watch what he does. Dude, you're sick, man. That's fucking criminal. You know, I mean, most of the guys have respect. You know, I mean, it's a brutal sport, but they're brothers. They hug each other after, which is kind of sick in a way. I mean, you smashing someone and then you hug. But listen, there's some sort of respect. This guy's convulsing. He's convulsing like this, and he's stiff. And Tank Abbott makes fun of him, and then he laughs. There's a part at that fight. He has his knee on his head. His Tank Abbott's 280 pounds, puts his whole weight, his knee, you can't see my knee, but he's on it, like crushing his skull. And then he just goes, boom, and just hard as he can, 280 pounds on this man's skull. And then he starts laughing. Like, how is that fucking legal? You know, I mean, he should be in jail. All right, crazy shit. And I'll be breaking down all of these UFCs. I've already done 3. And more to come. It's exciting stuff, isn't it? All right. On that note, good friends, good books, and a sleepy conscience. Peace, love, and understanding here on Tabor Talk.